I promised my members a creepy show for Halloween. So, yes, I can't do that voice for very long. No, I'm going to go back to my normal squeaky voice. Can't do that deep down voice for very long. No, look, it's Halloween. We don't really celebrate down under. Well, it's starting to do with the kids. The kids are eating lots and lots of lollies, you know. Yeah, they're all going to have diabetes later, so it's just, you know, ridiculous. But for you guys, the Northern Hemisphere, that seem to think this is a good idea, I thought I'd do something a bit creepy than usual. And I have 3 stories to tell you, and they're all true. These are true little tales, and they all happened to me. Will I lie to you? No, these are actually all true. All 3 of them happened to me. But what happened is unbelievable. Yeah. All right. I'm calling this Houdini's Halloween Horrors. Yes. Watch if you dare. Roll the music. We have made it this far, so you must be ready for my scary tales. And they're true. They actually all happened to me. One is an alien abduction. Yep. I nearly got probed. It's true. 2 is a ghost story of a haunted house. It's true. And 3 was a ghastly apparition in my bedroom that scared the willies out of me. All of these happened, and I'm going to share them with you. Yep. So, let's get started with number 1, alien probing. Yes, this is a true story. Yep. I was lying in bed one night, many years ago. I don't even think I'd started this channel. I might have talked about it, but I'd only just started this channel, so it's about a decade ago. And I was living in an A-frame house, right? Sort of like, you know, like one of those Swiss ones with big pointy roofs for snow, but there's no snow where I lived. No, and it was on a back of a farm, bottom of a sort of hill, near a creek. Lovely little quiet little spot. I loved living there. I really enjoyed making videos there. I did some of my best work there, I think. It was quiet. It was peaceful. You know, I worked from home. Bess the cat was happy there. She used to run around in the yard and play with a great big 20-foot long python. That's another story. Anyhow, one night I'd fallen asleep, and my bedroom is upstairs in the A-frame, but also my office, because there wasn't a lot of room. Downstairs was only a living room, kitchen. Upstairs is a bedroom, and then a sort of a mezzanine area. And I had this walled off with a wardrobe. So I had my bed, the wardrobe, and then there's my little office with the window out onto the only opening. The A-frame is like a little balcony. You know, as you look, A-frame houses have a little balcony. Yeah, so that's off to the side. So I'm lying in bed. It's a hot evening. I've got the window open for a cool breeze coming in, and I'm waiting for the thunderstorm to come, you know, which usually happen on the hot time of the year like it is now. We have big thunderstorms. So I've just began to doze off and I'm half awake, and then I hear the thunderstorm and that sort of makes me half awake, and I look out. And as I look out in a bleary gaze, I see a red beam sweeping across my room. I'm lying going, what the truck is that? And there's no sound except for a rustle outside and a bit of a humming. There was a little humming as well. And then it go, and it would stop on the bed. I'm thinking, what is this? And then it went up a little bit, and then it went down a bit. I'm thinking, holy soaring sandwiches! There's a UFO outside my window hovering, and it's doing like the red beam thing, and any second now I'm going to get probed. I know I'm going to get probed. So, and I'm really getting quite terrified and quite upset, and the thunder's in the background. The thunder and lightning have receded and gone, you know, to the next sort of neighbourhood, but it's there. So I've got this thunderous thing. It's late at night. There's a bit of a wind. There's this buzzing sound, and and I'm lying in bed, and I'm getting really upset and worried about being probed by those aliens. And the next thing I know, right in my face is this eerie grey critter with big almond eyes right into my face. I'm going, "Ah!" and I scream like a girl. And then Basset jumped off the bed. Yeah. It was her. Anyhow, it still did. This beam was still going. I thought, what the hell's going on? I thought, is there an alien spaceship outside? So sneaked out of bed, peeked around the side of the wardrobe, in my braveness of girl shriekiness. And then I saw what it was. I didn't have proper Wi-Fi back in these days. We used to have dongles. Remember dongles? Little dongles that stick inside, the little thing with a USB. And I had my dongle on a great big long lead because I'd found the sweet spot in the house. Always, wherever I moved, I'd have to find the sweet spot for the dongle where the Wi-Fi, well, actually the signal coming in, was the highest. And then I could plug that into a thing to go on my computer and away we'd go. Anyhow, it was up on the top of a Venetian blind like this one, hanging down a bit. But the blind was up, everything was set so the air could come in. So it was hanging, right? And the breeze was blowing it, and for some reason it was making it rotate. So it was doing that, and it has a little LED light on it to indicate it's getting a signal, right? And occasionally it bleeps, and and occasionally it does things. So here this thing's doing this under the breeze, which was there was a bit of breeze coming, and all these elements combined together to produce a red beam across my room that frightened the living poop out of me. So there you go. That is my alien abduction story. But there's more. Let me tell you about the ghosts. Extra dark mood lighting for this one. Yeah, I can't do that voice. Can't do that voice. So yeah, this is the first of two ghost stories. Both of them are true. Actually, I've had a lot of ghosts in my life, but these two are recent. Well, in the last decade that I can remember with my, fading memory. Anyhow, I'd got this really nice job, and I decided I needed somewhere better to live. I was living in actually my ex-wife's ex-husband's flat on the beach. It's all very collubious. I broke up with my wife, and we were still friends. And her first husband had this unit on the beach, and he let me stay there while we sorted the breakup. And it was quite good. And I stayed there for another year, probably about 3 years. It was quite good. But it was his unit, and he wanted to sell it, and blah, 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 blah. So I looked for somewhere nice, and I didn't want to get a flat, and I didn't really want to live near the beach. I found living next to the beach with all the salt was a problem. My motorbike was rusting. So, and I only had a motorbike to get around with at this time. So I looked around, and I found this lovely cottage. Just a little cottage, yeah. And it's been sort of what I've done ever since. I like a cottage. And you can usually get them cheaper than a full house because a cottage is small, right? So it was only a little 2-bedroom cottage sitting on this block of land. It was kind of cute with trees all over it. The owner lived next door in the next block. It was in suburbia. This one wasn't out in the scrub yet. I hadn't quite started living on farms. So this is an older story than the alien abduction. But anyhow, I had this lovely little cottage, and it was old. Very old. Looked like somebody had hand built it. It was like the house that Jack built it. It was probably asbestos. But I loved it. It was really cute. It was me. It was kind of weird. It was wacky. It was strangely shaped inside. And I'd sort of improved it by fixing a few things up and putting up a whole lot of Venetian blinds. I kind of like my Venetian blinds, so put all those up. And I'd got it looking really nice. But strange things happened. Yeah, really. It was really weird. The toilet wasn't in the main sort of square of the house. It had a lean-to with a garage, a little carport, right, covered sort of carport thing. And then the back of that's a laundry, and then there's the toilet, literally an outside toilet that had been covered over. So the only way to go to the toilet was to go through the kitchen, out through a back door, which was locked with one of those ginormous big long keys. Remember those great big long sort of brass keys? Yeah, had one of those giant bloody keys. And you'd go out through this great big door. Actually, the door didn't even match the rest of the house. Everything looked like they'd found it on a junk heap and put it together and made this place. That's why I liked it. So out you'd go to the toilet, right? So that's how it was. But invariably, I'd want to go for a midnight pee, as you do as you're getting older. And I'd go and I'd find the bloody door's been locked. I'm like, this is strange, because I wouldn't lock it. I would leave it open so that peeing progress was not impeded, so you could pee. And it didn't matter because the garage locked down and the laundry locked, and so, it was pretty safe to leave that, You really didn't need to lock that internal door. In fact, I could have left it propped open, except we did get a lot of spiders and sort of crap in the garage. So to keep the house a little less spidery, I would always shut the door, but I wouldn't lock it. I don't remember ever locking it. But lo and behold, every now and then I'd go for a pee, especially at night, and it would be locked. And this kerfuffled me. And then one night, I felt a presence. I wasn't Bastard Cat, didn't have her then. No, I had Merlin the cat back then. It's another story. I'll tell you about Merlin another day. So one night, just the hairs on the back of my neck pricked up, and sort of this eerie, sort of cold feeling. And I thought, someone left the fridge open? No. And I moved over, and the door's locked. And I thought, I wonder if we have a poltergeist. So I yelled out and went, will you stop locking my door? Just stop it. Just stop it. Stop doing this. I'm sick and tired of this going for a pee in the middle of the night and you locking my door. I know you're there. And after that, the door was never locked again. Now, the story gets even deeper because this may have all been coincidence. Try to say that, your mouth full of teeth. This may have all been coincidence, and I might have just been forgetting that I'd locked it. But I'd go over to pay rent next door, the owners. And the night after I'd had my fight with the ghost, she said to me, oh, sounds like you met George. I said, what? I said, yeah, there was a couple in there many, many years ago, old couple. And the wife died and then George died. And a lot of people have felt there was an old man in the house because they could smell something unusual. I couldn't. I already had old man smell, so, you know. They could sense something. I said, and the doors would surprisingly lock themselves. I said, yeah, that's exactly what's happened to me. She said, yeah, that's what he does. I said, we heard you telling him off. She said, we'll see how it goes over the next few weeks. Usually, if you call him up and tell him not to lock the door, he won't. And lo and behold, for all the weeks after that I lived there, George never locked the door again. Good on you, George. True story. Now, if you think that was a little bit strange and bizarre and mysterious, wait until you hear about the ghostly apparition in my bedroom that again had me screaming like a girl. Now, my final story is the one that scared me the most. I literally wet myself when this happened. Yes, I urinated the bed. I absolutely jumped up in sheer terror and all the blood drained out of my face and I screamed my head off. It was that frightening. And it wasn't a cat. No. What had happened was, it was my birthday. Right? Early this month was my birthday. This was my birthday many years ago. Many, many years ago. But it probably would have been between George the Ghost and Bask the Alien in the middle of all this, but before YouTube. And I'd had a sticky window in this house that I was sort of living in. Funny sort of setup. It was a small house, but it had a back thing that could be rented out like a granny flat. So I had half of it. So it was sort of a good price to live there. And it was 3 doors down from my girlfriend, so I decided I'd live there. It'd be handy. But in the end, living too close to your girlfriend has problems. But anyhow, we'll talk about that another day. So here I am in this house, rather nice little house, and my birthday. But the windows are old, sort of cantilever type ones, you know, they just sort of get a bit sort of sticky. And I'd sort of pushed really hard on this window during the day, and as it went open, it actually smashed, and a pane of glass came down, sliced me on the leg. And I couldn't believe it. There's blood everywhere, everything. And, you know, and I rang up the girlfriend. She came over and she stitched me up and bandaged me up. And that's how it was, right? But the thing was, she at that stage was my ex-girlfriend. Because as I said, living actually too close, it was too much. And so we both started seeing other people. But she still come over, bandaged me up. And we still used to have lunch every now and then. But what happened is, here I am. I'm all torn up at the knee, stitched, bandaged, not feeling real good. I had planned to invite a whole lot of friends over. I think it was a special birthday. I don't think it was my 50th. No. Maybe it was a 43rd or something. I don't know. It was a significant birthday and I wanted to have all my friends go and have curry with me. And I'd invited people from down in Brisbane and all over the place. People were coming from everywhere to spend some time with me on my birthday. And then I'd sliced up this knee. So I ended up having to ring everybody and try and contact everybody and say, look, dinner's off, and ring up the restaurant and say, sorry, look, it's cancelled. Because it was about, I think I'd booked a table for about 30 or 40. I mean, you know, I have a few friends, a couple. And they're all ex-girlfriends. No, most of them. Anyhow, so I was feeling fairly forlorn, and I went to bed pretty upset and dejected because, you know, I wasn't going to have my birthday dinner, and, you know, I was sort of all a bit miserable about it all. And the current lady I was seeing had rang up and said, do you want me to come over? I went, oh, no, look, I'm not really good company. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel better and do something, you know. So I toddled off to bed. And I think I had Mel and the cat then. Yeah, it would have been Mel and the cat. And slumbered down to have a good night's sleep. I mean, I had a few painkillers because my knee was throbbing. And I just got to sleep. And, you know, you've just nodded off, and you're at that point where you just feel like your body drops and you're going into a deep sleep. And then there was this brush of air, cold air across me, and I sort of woke me up a little bit, and there was an airy light coming in the room. I'd left one of the Venetian blinds open just a tiny bit, but it was dark when I went to sleep, but the moon had come up since then, so it was a full moon as well. So yes, it's a full moon, horror story. And then in the light, this diaphanous white apparition appeared, leaned over the bed and said, Harry. And I screamed on the top of my voice, thinking, it's the angel of death come to get me. I don't know what's going on. Help, 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 help. And I'm screaming my head off. And then she reached over, flicked the switch, said, Harry, it's only me, the girlfriend. Just come to check that you're okay. I was ringing your phone to make sure that you got to bed all right and you weren't answering, so I thought I'd better come over. Remember, I've got your key. So here's your lesson. Don't give your girlfriends the key. And don't let them just turn up whenever they like. She was actually on a booty call, she reckoned. She was going to go around and cheer me up, you know, give me a bit of the old whompa whompa. And all she did was actually scare me to bits. I literally wet myself into bed. I had to go and get changed. I was quite embarrassed because you know, the state I was, with the way I'd been that day and depressed and upset with everything, for that to happen, it just caught me and shocked me. You had to be there. You had to be there. But yes, there you go. I cried like a baby and I wet myself. Yep. I don't tell that to everybody. I'm hoping that most people didn't make it to this part of the video. They sort of tuned out somewhere in the alien story, or maybe they got through to George and they didn't watch this bit. So you guys that did watch this bit, you've heard a story about me wetting myself. And that's about as good as it gets on this channel. It really is. All right. That's Houdini's Halloween Horrors. 3 stories that had nothing to do with skull modelling. We'll be skull modelling next time, promise. November we'll do some skull modelling, promise. And those things all happened to me. They're all true. They all happened to me. But they actually weren't the aliens, and there wasn't actually a spectral of death. And then the George, well, I reckon George was true, but there's no way to prove it. But that bloody door, I tell you, it did stop locking itself once I told George the ghost off. So make of that what you will. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this, hit some buttons down here. The buttons are basically alien, anal and probe. Yeah, hit those buttons. See what happens. See if you get an alien probe. Yes, lucky you. And if you want to help me out, you can always buy me a curry. Curry's good. Apparently curry farts get rid of ghosts and ghouls. Who knew? Who knew? This is why I eat a lot of curry these days. It keeps all the spectres away. It does. And the aliens won't probe you because there's no way they're going anywhere near that orifice after all the curries I eat. All right, well, I hope you had a good Halloween. And if you dressed up and went out, well, I hope you're over 10. All right, that's it. Goodbye from Australia. Wait, what's that? Oh, you wanted to be in this video, Bask. You've only just woken up. Always late to the party. Yeah. Always late to the party. Maybe next year, I'll have some stories to tell you about Bask on Halloween. Because there are some. But I'll tell you those another time. All right, goodbye from Australia. And it's hooroo from Harry Houdini. going to be a special ending on this one. Nah, stop it. See ya.